Don't understand.
Dorit and PK are still an interesting bunch. I don't know. I think everyone's going to have, when you get into these businesses, there are going to be civil things. And we've seen that with Dorit's swimsuit line and business partners. And we're going to see some of that. But I don't know. And I don't wish it on anyone. Look, if you know that it's a house of cards, don't be on reality TV. But that's where the arrogance comes in. That's where the I know better than everyone comes in. And that ends up often being the downfall. So that's the best part about reality TV is you never know what's going to happen next. It's why I cover pop culture legal. You never know what's going to happen next.
Speaking of arrogance, I had them on my show. They were a little more canned than most guests, but what about like the Chrisleys? Like, you knew right? I mean, they're found guilty. Here we have a case of an actual trial.
They went to trial. Yep.
So I mean, they're kind of fucked too, right?
I mean, they're definitely going to probably go to prison. I don't know if they will. What'll be interesting is, do the Chrisleys go to prison longer than Jen Shah or not as long as Jen Shah? They are facing substantially more time because there's more. And again, the feds will come for their money, and it's wild. But they were like, look, we thought what we were doing was right. Like business. We thought what we were doing was fine. It's not. And so that's where we're at. Reality TV, man, it's an interesting thing. I can't imagine opening up my life like that and then being at the mercy of somebody else's camera and editing. I can't imagine it. But I truly can't imagine it when you've already got the government investigating things. It's wild.
Right. It's the arrogance. You truly it's either the arrogance that you just truly feel you're wonderful and special and it's not coming for you, or it's just, as I say, the most addictive drug in the world, Emily, is fame. It is not money. It is not cocaine. It is not crack. I say it's fame for a lot. Maybe not. Okay, let's put all those in the same category. But the fame drug, like a Jen Shah, you mean to tell me that she didn't care? It would never have stopped her. I think even if this was not being sentenced, but even if her case was like a year advanced, I think she still would have said yes to the Housewives. I cannot see a world where she would have said no. That just was like, to be a housewife, I don't think anything could have stopped her.
I mean, which I can't wrap my head around because it just sounds so unappealing.
You gotta put it out there.
I mean, I really, when all the stuff with Jen Shah came down, I'm like, wait, she knew this when she signed on to the show. Erika didn't know this was coming when she signed on to Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I am not going to couch that at all. There's no way she knew that this is the trajectory that her life was going in when she signed on. Jen knew that there had been this thing in the past. She knew that other people she worked with had been arrested by the feds and still signed on for the show. I don't understand that decision. I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that, but how do you make that decision to be like, yeah, bring the cameras in. Let's bring the questions. It's fine. Let's bring more scrutiny. It's wild. It's wild.
It's wild. And she came out guns blazing. So it's not like, I mean, there's no question that she still would have said yes, even if it was advanced a year. There's no way. She loves those cameras. Two things before we go. First of all, I must say, I love my law nerd. Emily sent a lovely box. No, but when all you say, I get to talk to everyone, all these fun people. From now on, this gavel is my new favorite thing that you sent me. When these housewives, I'm just going to be like this, like, no, I do not agree with you, Kelly Dodd.
Overruled.
And you sent me this great box because of you hit 200,000 followers, but now from the time you sent this out, you are over 600,000 subscribers.
I'm over 600,000 on YouTube. So we had been prepping the 200,000 box. It had been, my first growth on YouTube was about a 6-month period from like 5,000 to 100,000. And I was absolutely blown away. And then the year following that, we grew another 100,000. I was like, this is amazing. And we were printing up the boxes just to celebrate not just the people who I've gotten to connect with and support me, but the community of law nerds as well. And then the boxes were almost done being printed when the Depp Heard trial started. And then everything kind of exploded again. And we went from 200,000 to 600,000 in a very quick span. It was,
Wow.
I didn't anticipate it, still don't anticipate it. It's been a little bit of a wild ride. My live streams, I mean, our last Depp Heard live stream for the verdict, we had over 370,000 people on my live stream. And I was not the only person streaming it by far. It was just wild.
That's
You
what I
never know
try to
who's
tell
watching.
people. You never know who's watching. And like, all right, outside of Housewives, guys, like if you just throw an A-lister in there in Hollywood, and it's like, I didn't realize it was just from the Depp Heard that you got like all this,
Yeah.
basically another 400,000 people. Wow.
Because just the visibility, I mean, day over day, we started with 10,000 people on stream and then 50,000. And then by the middle of trial, most days we were upwards of 100,000 people on stream. So it's just putting what I do in front of a lot more people, because now people who aren't normally looking for pop culture law are looking for it all at the same time that I am online too. And so we all got to spend a whole lot of time together going through that trial live. I don't think we're going to see anything like it for another decade. That there were so many moments in that trial that you're like, that just happened. Like some of the witnesses were absolute characters. You've got, Morgan Tremaine from TMZ clapping back at Amber Heard's lawyer about 15 minutes of fame. And it was just all encompassing. It was wild.
You have Kate Moss. I mean,
you have Kate Moss testifying via Zoom. It's
that, yes, this and that, but I was never hit. It was just like, wait, Kate Moss is speaking out? Like, wait a second. Like, let me just gather my thoughts here.
Yeah. We've not seen a celebrity trial like it. You don't normally have cameras in the courtroom in a civil courtroom like this. There's normally not the interest or the need for it. And I think everyone got to learn a lot about how our judicial system actually works. And I'm still getting a ton of questions about this case. Like, what is an appeal? How does it work? And it really reminded me how much we don't break down our legal system and how it works for people. And they normally don't have a good insight of the legal system until they're impacted by it. And so it governs so much of what we do in the US. I think there was a lot to be learned by opening up. This is how the process works. This is what a jury is. This is what rules of evidence are. Everyone knows what objection hearsay means at this point. I don't know if they know all the exceptions, but they know what the objection is. So that's a win.
Wow. See, you're just educating people, it's anything else you want to talk about before we go? Thank you for spending your time. I swore to myself this would not go more than an hour, but here we are. So I am respectful of your time,
I know. I love getting to chat. I'm sure there will be more that we will chat about soon, but if anybody needs to find me, I'm the Emily Show podcast. I'm at the Emily D. Baker all over socials. I cover pop culture and break down the legal part of it. So you never know. I don't get to have conversations with fun housewives. I don't think they want me talking about them. I imagine that the housewives are like, please don't talk about me, because I really only cover it if there's legal proceedings going on, but I watch all of it.
Well, listen, one day when there's less going on in the law, you can come back and we can just talk a little bit long. You can talk all about what's going on the current season.
Absolutely. Well, I hope we get to talk in person. You're going to be at BravoCon, yes?
Yes. You're going to be here all weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
we have, then we're going to meet. I'm in the Hamptons for the summer, but I'm back in the city that weekend. So we're going to make it happen. There's a lot of, are you coming in just Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I don't know when I'm coming in. I don't. I think I'm coming in a little bit before that.
Okay. So we'll definitely. The last one was literally insane, but in the best way possible. So
I want to do all the insane things and, get to, I've met so many people through this coverage that I've only gotten to interact with on Zoom. I just want to see everybody that I get to have conversations with in person. And then there will also be housewives there. I'm very excited about all of this. And I cannot wait. I've heard that drinking will be involved. I cannot wait for that either. I'm ready for all the things.
There's lots of, listen, with me, there's always drinking.